Hi everyone, this is Kelly, the Property Hunter. Welcome back to our channel, the best place for property investors and homeowners. All right, today's video is about this very trending topic that a lot of people are talking about right now, which is the latest government cooling measure when it comes to property, which is the implementation of additional buyer stamp duty for properties, residential properties transferred into a living trust. Okay, so what exactly is this? If you read the news recently, you will see that we are flooded with news everywhere, talking about this latest cooling measure, which is the implementation of this additional buyer stamp duty for properties bought under a trust agreement. Okay, so the thing now is we have been receiving a lot of phone calls and a lot of SMSs from people around us, especially for those, number one, homeowners who have, or rather property investors who have already bought a property under a trust agreement for their children. How is it going to affect them? And the second group of people who has been asking a lot of questions are those people who were intending to purchase a property under a trust agreement for their children. Okay, so moving forward, how is it going to affect them? So the thing now is, on the 9th of May 2022, just a couple of days ago, the Singapore government came out with a new cooling measure, which is for all transfer of residential property into a living trust will incur an additional buyer stamp duty of 35%. What does that mean? It means that the moment you buy a property under a trust agreement, okay, which means the beneficiary could be your wife, could be your spouse, could be your children. The moment you actually purchase it under a trust agreement, you will have to pay an additional buyer stamp duty of 35% upfront. Okay, you pay upfront first. Okay, so the thing now is, a lot of people will be like, wow, 35% is a lot. Okay, this is possibly the highest tier of additional buyer stamp duty that you need to pay in the Singapore property market at this point of time. I'm not too sure if they're going to increase in the future, but for individual, this is the highest tier of additional buyer stamp duty of 35%. Okay, so what are the changes? How does it work, and how is it going to affect you? Okay, and this is what today's video is going to be about. All right, so the most frequent asked questions by the people around us is this: do I need to pay additional buyer stamp duty if I were to purchase a property under trust? And the answer with this latest new cooling measure by the Singapore government is yes, you will need to pay. Okay, so the moment you purchase a property under a trust agreement, under trust arrangement, you will have to pay, the IRAS, a stamp duty, additional buyer stamp duty fee of 35% of your property price. However, it can be refunded, which means it can be, you can apply for what we call an ABSD remission, which is a refund. Okay, if you were to meet certain conditions. And of course, I need to highlight to these guys first that number one, you need to apply for this remission within 6 months. Okay, within 6 months of purchase of the property. So within the 6 months, you have to apply for this remission. Okay, it's after 6 months, they will not actually honor it anymore. Okay, so it can be refunded if the following 3 criteria are being met. Okay, only if the following 3 criteria are being met. Let me just go through them with you. What is it about? The first criteria is the fact that the individual must be identifiable, meaning that this person must have an ID, be an NRIC, be a birth certificate. Okay, so this person must be, identifiable. Can it be an unborn child in the mommy's tummy? No, it doesn't work that way anymore. Okay, in the past, yes, they actually done it before, I think, and also, it doesn't apply. This doesn't apply to entities anymore. In the past, we have heard of people buying properties under trust agreement with unknown beneficiaries, which means they have not yet decided who they're gonna grant this property to. Okay, so that doesn't work anymore. And this new, in order for you to be eligible for this ABSD remission, which is the application for refund, okay, the one condition is that, the individual must be identifiable. So remember, you need a birth certificate or an NRIC. Second condition is the fact that this person must own the property now and not in the future. Meaning that, for example, if you were to buy this property for your child must own the property now and not in the future. Yes, it doesn't matter if they are 21, people below 21 years old. Legally speaking, this property belongs to them. okay, belongs to them. The ownership belongs to them. It has to be now, cannot be in the future. You can't say that, oh, my son will only, own this property when he turned 50 years old, for example, 30 years old, okay? Doesn't work that way anymore. In order for you to be eligible for the remission, this second condition must be met. Third condition is the fact that when you create a trust deed for this property, it has to come without conditions. What does that mean? Some parents, they come up with trust deed, okay, trust agreement, they bought property, and then they say that, okay, my son will only get a property if he graduates with a PhD, for example, or, if he earns $1 million, okay, for example. So there are some conditions being tagged to this trust deed, okay? So in order for you to be eligible for this remission, okay, you have to meet all three, not one, not two, but all three of these conditions, okay? To illustrate further, let me just show you a few scenarios and examples so that you have a clearer idea, okay? So the first scenario we're going to look at is this, okay? I purchased a residential property for my married son on the 9th of May, okay, who owns another property. The trust states that he's the sole beneficial owner of the property. Will I be eligible for the remission of the ABSD? The answer will be yes. However, because your son is already married and he already owns one property, so this property that you are buying for him is considered his second property. That means that he will need to pay the additional buyer's stamp duty rate of the second property. Okay, so let's say he is a Singapore citizen, he will have to pay the ABSD rate of 17%. And if he is a permanent resident, he will have to pay the ABSD rate of 25%. Okay, so remember we said that you pay upfront first, 35%, and then they will refund you, correct? If this case, if let's say it's his second property and it's Singaporean, he will have to pay 17%. So they will not refund the 35% to you. They will refund the balance after deducting 17%. All right. Okay. Second scenario. Let's take a look. Okay, on 9th of May, I declare that I'm holding a condo unit on trust for my children, Sarah and John. So Sarah owns 50% share. John is only entitled to the other 50% if he gets married. Okay, will I be eligible for the remission of ABSD? The answer will be no, you will not be eligible. Remember, we said that the trust deed must be without conditions. In this case, it says that John is only entitled to the property if he gets married. So that means that if John were to remain as a bachelor for the rest of his life, he will not be entitled to this property. Okay, so there is a condition to it. So in this case, then no, you will not be eligible for the remission. Okay, let's take a look at scenario 3. I declared a trust on 9th of May that I'm a condo unit for my 5-year-old child whose interest in the property will only be beneficially vested at the age of 21. Will I be eligible for the remission of the ABSD? No, the answer is no, you will not be eligible. Because why? Remember, we mentioned that, when you buy a property, the beneficiary, okay, must own the property now. So in this case, even though this is a 5-year-old, you cannot say that, oh, this property only belongs to them when they turn 21. No, legally, yes, you need to be 21 years old to actually own this property, but this property already belongs to the child, the moment you buy it under their name. Okay, so when speaking to a lawyer, we will actually recommend that you actually engage a law firm who is very well versed in handling trust deed and trust agreement, because you need to word it carefully that their interest in the property must be vested immediately upon execution. All right. Scenario 4, let's take a look. I'm buying a property as a trustee for my son, who's currently 10 years old. Will I be eligible for the remission of ABSD? The answer will be yes, you will be eligible, even though your son is 10 years old. Okay, they are below 21. The thing now is, in order for you to be eligible, remember this, you need to arrange for this. The child's interest in the property must be vested upon execution of the trust deed. What does that mean? Means that the child's interest in this property must be immediately. Okay, the moment you execute the trust deed, when the trustee sign off, the child's interest is already in this property. This property already belongs to the child, regardless if they're 10 years old, they're 20 years old, they're 1 year old. Okay, regardless of that, as long as their interest in the property is vested immediately upon execution, then yes, you will be eligible for the remission of the ABSD. Okay, let's take a look at one more scenario. Okay, my wife and I have already purchased a property for my 9-year-old daughter before 9 May 2022. Do we need to pay this ABSD for trust? So some people already ask, because a lot of our clients actually bought properties under the children's name? The answer is no. It is only for purchases or agreements made on or after 9th of May 2022 onwards. So if you bought it last month, last year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, you have this agreement, it does not affect you. Okay? And then one last question that a lot of people like to ask. Will I be able to sell the property that's under my daughter's name held in trust by me? Okay, so a lot of people ask, okay, if that's the case, can I still sell this property? Yes, you can sell. The sales proceeds must be transferred into a joint name account. For example, let's say it's the mother and the daughter, the property is under the daughter's name, and the mother and the father, for example, okay, is the trustee of this property. Okay, then the sales proceed must be transferred into a joint account with the daughter's name. And then, I have people asking me, this sales proceed, can I go and buy another property? Yes, you can. However, the property that you buy using this sales proceed from this money from this joint account must be under your daughter's name. Okay, make sure that it's under your daughter's name. And can you use that money, the sales proceeds, in the bank account for other purposes? Yes, only if it's related to your daughter. For example, can you use this money to pay for your daughter's education? You can. Can you use this money to pay for your daughter's, for example, expenses or insurance or things like that? You can. Because why? Remember, this property that you're buying for your daughter, belongs to your daughter. So the money that you earn, the sales proceeds and all this, right? All this money belongs to your child. So anything that you need to buy, or you need to pay for your child, it can be used. However, you're saying, oh, can I use this sales proceed to go and buy a sports car for myself or to buy a nice branded bag for myself? You cannot. It has to be related to your daughter, because technically speaking, like I mentioned, this property belongs to them. Therefore, all the sales proceeds and everything belongs to them. The trustee can manage all these funds, but the trustee cannot make use of these funds for themselves. Okay, and some of our clients also ask these questions. Do I need to keep a record? Yes, you need to keep a record. Is there a time limit? Unfortunately, no, there is no time limit, because IRAS doesn't say that, you need to keep the receipts for 5 years or 10 years. But the thing now is, for every money that's being used from this account, it has to be held accountable. Okay, we don't know when IRAS is going to do a random check, or if they will do a check on you. There is no guarantee. So it'd be good if, let's say, you were to keep, proof of purchase or proof of usage of the money from this sales account. Okay, so I hope today's session has been useful to you guys. Okay, if you'd like to find out more tips on property investments, or you would like to learn more strategies or learn about the latest news, do follow us on our social media platforms. We have the YouTube, Facebook, and our Instagram as well. All right. Till then, I hope you take care. See you soon. Thank you for being with us today. Bye-bye.